Hey, it's Allison Steinberg, your host, and I'm here just to welcome you to Estheticians in Business, the podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 12 of Estheticians in Business, the podcast. I'm so excited you're here because I have so much good stuff to be talking to you about. And I just have a phone full of notes, and I'm just so excited because we're going to be talking about summer. All right. Now, summer, let me tell you, does not have to be a time where your business slows down. That is something that I literally hear from my students or used to hear from my students until we put this strategy together. And it was something that like I have coached for years that just because summer hits doesn't mean it has to be a time of slowness or a time of like irritation with your clients. It can be a time of something different. And so we're going to get into that. But before we get into that, I want to tell you guys some personal stuff that's going on. Now, I'm super excited because my husband and I have actually decided that we're going to begin foster adopting. And there's like a really long class, not say really long, but it's an 11-week class that we have to go through DHR. And we started it last week. So it's every Tuesday evening for like 3 hours for 11 weeks. And we're super excited because I've had it on my heart for like a really long time to foster a child, to adopt a child. I always said I would have one through my body and then I would adopt or foster. We are going to try to attempt to have another biological child, but I've always still wanted to foster adopt. It's just something that's been on my heart forever. My husband's adopted. And so that is something that obviously is also near and dear to him as well. And so we're super excited for that. So if anybody has ever been through the process or if is a child of the system and you want to give me some pointers or something like that, let me know. Some things I am afraid of or nervous of is, and now we're probably going to try to stick with like younger children unless it's like an emergency situation just due to our daughter's age until she gets older, of course, and our other child will be older, but I'm not pregnant. But anyway, some of the things I'm kind of worried about is making sure that I understand how to take care of everyone's like hygiene, like hair, all that stuff, which I've already started kind of studying on that. Make sure I have everything. I think that's the thing that's I'm afraid of. Like, what if I have a baby? Like, I don't produce breast milk anymore. So it's like I can't nurse that child, right? So, which also may be weird. But I was like, so should we have formula on hand all the time? Should I be pulling out a bassinet? Like, what does that look like? And so, if you've ever done this, and you want to give your girl some pointers, like, should I keep a diaper size of every size on hand? That would be awesome. You just let me know. Any pointers that you want to send my way, that would be awesome. Because if you know me, I'm a planner. And so I'm just like, literally, they called me and went to our first meeting the other day and they were like, so we know Allison's the planner because I was like, what do I need to be ready for? I don't want to, because they were like, sometimes we call you at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're going to have a baby at your doorstep at 3 o'clock. And like, I'm going to cry. And I'm just like, okay, Walmart's not open at 3 o'clock. What if I need something specific? They're like, well, we'll try to give you whatever they give us. Well, we don't know half the time what we're going to receive. So I'm like, do I need to, like, are we coming with a car seat or no? Are we coming with diapers or no? Like, what are we coming with? Like, what do I need to prepare for? And so if you guys have anything, please send me that way. But that's something personal going on in my life right now, which is kind of crazy, but I'm also super excited about and a little nervous, but I think that it's going to be good because I don't know. I just feel like this is what God has called, something God's called me to do for a long time. And I feel like my baby is out there and I'm going to do this without crying, but I feel like my baby is out there and I'm like, I have to get my baby. And the only way I feel like to do that is to go through something like this. So, anyways, gonna put these tears back in my eyeballs, suck them right back up. My skin's hydrated. I don't need any tears. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So glad I started this episode crying. But I wanted you guys to know I want to share more about this stuff like on Instagram, but I guess I get so caught up in the emotions behind it that's sometimes hard for me to share. So I'm going to share more on this podcast with you guys because honestly, I'm just looking at myself right now, talking to you. So it's not that scary when I'm looking at myself, right? Okay, here we go. All right. So the newest episode is Marketing in the Summer: What Works When Business Slows Down. And honestly, let's have some real talk. We know that summer can feel really slow for estheticians, but I want you to know that it doesn't have to look like that. Okay. So today's episode, I'm going to be sharing exactly how to market your business when clients are on vacation or when you're starting to see those empty appointment slots and you're like, what do I do? And you're like, is this me? Am I the problem? And I want you to know you're not. But before we jump into this, I also need you to know this, okay? So, Estheticians in Business Marketing course, has been like where you could like view it in different manners, but I'm actually going to be opening the door for estheticians to join to enroll in the course in just about 2 weeks. It's like the 17th, I believe. And I'm super excited because you're going to have, if there's a wait list that's available. And if you join this wait list, you are going to have the first access to everything, the first access to the exclusive bonuses, everything like that. I'm also going to be doing we're super excited about this, a 6-week marketing, like summer strategy, exclusive group coaching, meaning that you will have like one-on-ones with me every single week. And I'm super excited about that. I also be walking through the exact summer strategy I have taught all my students, my coaching students. I'm also going to walk you through selling and taxes and like all these. The taxes part didn't sound so sexy, but I'm going to say like there's going to be so many bonuses just for this particular enrollment. And if you're already enrolled in estheticians in business marketing, don't worry, you are going to get access to this exclusive training. And I'm so excited. I cannot even tell you guys how excited I am about this because it's just going to be so good. But if you want in that wait list to get all the exclusive stuff to get direct access to me, I want you to go to the show notes and hit the link in there and join the wait list now. It's nothing happens other than you probably get an email that says, "Yeah, you're on the wait list. Congratulations." So do that ASAP because it's super limited. Okay. But all right, let's get into it. Now, let's talk about this summer slump that people talk about all the time, or estheticians really start to realize like, holy cannoli, summer sometimes suck. And I want to say, from my perspective, when I was in the treatment room, I felt like June was actually usually my best month. I loved June. July and August, September were always my slowest months. And they're always my slowest months because I found that the women that I treated, the men I treated, were usually parents. And so they were like having to pay for new school stuff, clothes, supplies, stuff like that. So, like, the excess money just wasn't a thing. So, I put together like all these different things that I would make sure I would set up prior to getting to those months to make sure that I was like, not going to be like, holy crap, how do I pay my bills? How do I pay myself? What do I do? How do I eat? I made sure I wasn't going to do that. And I only say I made sure I wouldn't do that because I had a year where I went from making $7,000 to $12,000 a month to the next month I literally made like $3,600 in September, and I was like telling my husband like, "Oh my gosh, like what are we going to do?" Like I was so unwell. And ever since then I was like, absolutely not. This is something that we planned for in June, to not let that September slump happen. Okay. So, slow months, I want you to know, are actually sometimes the biggest opportunity to get visible, to fix what's actually broken and prep for a profitable fall. And that's what I'm saying, because this season can get a really bad rep when the truth is summer's not the problem. The problem is not having the plan to get you out of this summer slump. So, we're going to be talking about 3 marketing moves that actually work during the summer that are really going to help you. And these are really actual tangible things that you can do so that you can ensure that your fall and everything is set up, but then for the next year, you're already ready to go. I personally loved, no joke, I loved using, say, like August as that month to kind of close in on knowing what was happening in my business, making sure that I was like on top of everything. If there was stuff I needed to change, I would reflect on the past year to make sure that, like, okay, I didn't like this. I didn't like how I did this promotion. I didn't like any of that. And if you've done any of my like promotion courses or training, stuff like that, I walk you through like an in-depth like debrief of like how to figure out if that promotion went well. And so you basically apply the same concept to how you do at the end of your year, right? Typically people do this in January, but I liked August because my January was super busy. But all right, so let's talk about our 3 tips. Now, tip number 1 is going to be fix your foundation. Now, the foundational things, and I teach a lot about foundation in esthetician business marketing course. It is literally the meat and potatoes. It is the thing on that plate. It's not the sides. It is the foundation, okay? It's really kind of like the plate. It's the thing that holds everything. Your foundation are things like your website. If you don't have a website, it's okay, and you're using your payment operating system, say like Vagaro or Square or something, to advertise your business, that's fine. But you have like something like that set up. How are you double checking on all your booking links? How are people communicating with you? What does your strategy look like? That is your foundation. Are you automating your emails? Like, are you doing things that are taking would take you time normally in your business and automating them and systemizing them to make sure that they're done like all the time. Because you literally can set it up one time, because you could literally set it up one time for your emails to send out a reconfirmation email or a you booked email or thank you for so much for coming in email, stuff like that, where you could literally have it set up and be done with and never have to worry about it again. Those are the kind of things you want to make sure automated. Go through your full system to make sure all the things are working, because this is the time when you want to clean up the back end. So when clients do come looking for you, you are ready, because you have to remember, and I talked about this the other day in a training on my Facebook group, which I'll put that in the show notes too. But I did a training on this the other day where it was just like, if people go to look for you and their experience sucks right off the beginning, why would they trust you to continue with whatever treatment they want if it's hard for them to book, if it's hard for them to do anything? Like, the experience your client has starts with you at the beginning. So you want to make sure that everything is set up, everything is good to go. And you would be like, I did this last year, or I do this, whatever. I just recommend you do it again, only because I'm not even joking when I say this. I set up everything for part of my business a few months ago. And I realized that like my sales and something had gone down. And at some point during all the stuff, that adding stuff and doing stuff and teaching and coaching and all this stuff, I accidentally deleted some of my links, meaning that people were actively trying to purchase something from me and they could not, because I had deleted the links for months. So maybe you're getting frustrated because people aren't booking with you, maybe through Instagram or something, but do your booking links work? Okay. So those are some tips of like starting that. Now, tip 2 is I want you to show up strategically on social media. Now, I want you to stop posting and being like, dear God, please let me get 5,000 clients from this. Because that's not how that works. Now, you can always pray for God to be fruitful and, to do all those things. But I want you to start using a strategy on social media. Are you using every aspect of Instagram? And if you're like, girl, I don't even know what you're talking about, it's something I also teach you in the course. I teach you how to use all of Instagram. And I also teach you how to like do well on Instagram and stuff like that. But like, are you using any strategy that is actually going to help you grow? I think that's the thing we have to remember. Like, what is that strategy? Even if the strategy is as simple as posting every single day, that is still a better strategy than this posting randomly every so often. Because the thing is, we forget is Instagram is going to reward your consistency. So you have to continue to show up all the time. But here are some things you can try to do, okay? You can set up like a model call. And I always talk about the model method. And I emphasize on always, like it's in italics right now in my voice, because model calls or the model method is something that I feel like should be devoured. It should be something that every esthetician should be doing correctly and in the best way, okay? Now, so many estheticians that have done this ignore my advice and do it completely opposite of what I say. A model method is something that you use to get models to come in, and they essentially are going to pay you a very small amount, okay? Say your thing is $100, your facial is $100, right? You say you're given 70% off. If somebody tells me something is 70% off, I'm buying it. I mean, I don't even know what it is. It's mine. I'm going to purchase it. Like, how exciting is that? I mean, literally. So they're going to be paying $30 for their service. Now, you might be like, oh my God. But if you have no clients, $30, sister, is $30. Okay. So you use that model method to get content, to get testimonies, reviews, feedback, to get practice. They're paying you in these things. Okay. Now, I've had it done a few different ways. I personally use a Facebook group and I loved it. But I know sometimes rules on Facebook groups can be hard because sometimes people will go on there and just spam, and that's so annoying. Don't do that. You literally use the day that they show for business and you get people to do the model method. Now, if you're in my course, this is in the Facebook section of the course. Look at that. If you're not in my course, I talk about it in a few of my reels. Check that out or DM me. But anyways, and then you can always do the model method, like say on Instagram. If you have just, a few hundred followers, you could literally get on there and do a very similar model method in stories. Seriously, be strategic. Be aware of your ability to use Instagram to get clients and Facebook to get clients, but do it strategically. If you ever look at estheticians that are growing on Instagram, it's not because they're constantly posting about their business. They're showing up as themselves. They're being cute. They're showing up with testimonies, and they're showing up with their before and afters, and they are doing loads of stuff like that. So you want to make sure you're showing up the same way, because if you're just posting randomly, like, why would I follow you? Literally, there's somebody I follow who's like a friend of mine. I've talked to her about this. She posts randomly, excuse me, she posts every day, but when you read her post, it speaks to no one. So she has literally thousands of posts she's made, but she only has like 400 followers. And it's because it speaks to no one. So you want to make sure you're speaking to someone and making sure it's really, really strategic. Okay. Now, also, I want you to connect with local Facebook groups and be seen in places your clients actually hang out. I call this the wild. Where do you meet your clients? In the wild. If you are in a Facebook group, if you're not in a Facebook group, like, get in a Facebook group. Seriously. Not a business one, not an esthetician one, because that makes no sense, but getting in one that's local to your business and local to your area. Now, if you're somebody who's like, I live in a really small area, I don't have that. You can create a business Facebook group. You can also join a mom's group, a bridal group. I mean, type these in, a Democrat group, a Republican group, a dog mom group, whatever. And if there's not a group, create one of like things to do in wherever you're located. And then get people to get into this Facebook group so that you can then show up as the business owner. Maybe it'll take a little time to grow, but if you are in charge of the group, you have so much power. But you have to be brave enough to step out of your comfort zone. Okay? Hear me. You have to be brave enough to step out of your comfort zone to make a business thrive. Now, I'm telling you right now, you do not need to go viral. You just need to stay consistent and compelling. And if you're on Instagram, using like DM automation is actually really awesome, because when the more people comment, the more the algorithm's gonna be like, oh, people like this. So just remember that. Now, tip 3 is, I want you to plan your next promotion, but don't launch it yet. Now, you may be saying, like, Allison, why would I not launch a promotion right now? Because most people slap a discount on a service and call it a promotion. That's not a strategy. That is panic. We don't do that here. We are estheticians in business, which means we're not begging for clients. We're becoming fully booked. And when you are out just slapping discounts on stuff, being like, please purchase, you make me want to run away. So I want you to plan your next promotion. And like I said, if you're in my course, Estheticians and Business Marketing course, the promo playbook is in there. That's for you. Get in there. And then if you're not in my course, then there's actually like a little mini course I created called the promo playbook that you can get. It's like $7 or something. So seriously, it's awesome. But to put together a promotion, and I want you to think of this, okay? While summer may not be the most booked out time right now, and maybe you're feeling like cancellations are really high, using summer to create the most perfect fall promotion so you're not scrambling is like key to this time. So I want you to think as summer being a time for like getting goals, getting content, meeting new clients that aren't on vacation, getting more leads, nurturing the current people, following up with people, using summer as a time to plan and to build versus just getting this constant flow of clients in. I hope that makes sense, because summer can sometimes feel super overwhelming for estheticians or underwhelming for estheticians, because a lot of the times you have to remember people are out and about. But I want you to know that's not an excuse. Whenever someone tells me like something's not working for them, and then they put that blame on the market, on inflation, on tariffs, on whatever, it's mean they're just not pivoting. Maybe they're not doing something correctly. And that's what I want you to hear today, that just because last year's summer was slow, last year's you went through this, doesn't mean you have to go through it this year. Your marketing can be on point if you have a strategy, if you have a summer strategy to help you get there. So I know you've probably been thinking, like, I hope fall is better. And I'm here to say, let's make summer better so fall can even be better. Okay, that's a word. There's 2 ERs on that. So I don't want you to waste your time scrolling, like doom scrolling, watching other estheticians do really well, or second guessing, or slashing your prices. Do not slash your prices. Do not do that. I want you to consider 2 things. One, I want you to consider that maybe you need to change your strategy, and that you need to really refocus on what this season is. I always tell people that maybe this season that you're in isn't a season of massive growth. Maybe it's a season of planning. Maybe it's a season of building. Maybe it's a season of getting by, but focusing on your mindset. So I want you that's your first thing. Second thing is I want you to focus now on education. If you're an esthetician who's like, I can't do this summer and it be crap again. I just can't do it. Then I want you to remember that I talked about my marketing course because inside of Estheticians and Business Marketing course, I literally walk you through this entire strategy. I talk about how to fix your foundation. I talk about how to attract clients, how to plan your promotion, how to retain bookings, how to create a loyalty plan, and how to be the esthetician, caps in italics, the esthetician all year long. So the waitlist is open and I'm going to link it again, of course. So I'm going to link it in the show notes so you know that. But I want you to know that this summer can be the summer that changes everything. I want you to be booked. I want you to be strategic. I want you to be the esthetician that other estheticians come to. I remember the first time I had like a really full booked out like week. And I had somebody come up to me and they're like, "What are you doing? You're brand new here." I literally was super new. "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just following a strategy." I really was. I really just stayed consistent with the strategy that I was like, okay, I know that if I continue to grow and continue to do this process, it's going to work. And that was in June and then in July. And it was so nice so that when August and September came around, it wasn't scary anymore because I had that summer strategy that was like, oh my gosh, it was so good. So I hope this was helpful. And I'm super excited for everybody who's going to be joining me in Esthetician's Business Marketing course and in our 6-week intensive. I'm so excited about the 6-week intensive. Now, remember, if you're already a course member, you get in that for free. And if you're not, it comes with your course. Anyways, I will see you guys next week and just look in the show notes because there's lots of stuff I talked about. So, anyways, love you. Bye.